Right, so I've just taken Rebecca up the middle way.
You can't say that.
Whoa,
It's a bit windy.
bit windy. Good morning everybody, welcome to Hampshire. Right, question. We're going to walk along a 6.8 mile / 11 kilometre abandoned railway. How much of that railway can you officially walk?
Well, as in literally on like where the tracks used to be?
Yes.
Literally?
Yep, on the tracks where they used to be, and an official pathway, permissive pathway, bridleway that's on the OS maps. Go.
28%.
Right, 28%. We'll put a little graphic on screen. I'm going to guess 20%. Graphic on screen throughout today's journey. Join us on the Spratt and Winkle branch line.
We're Paul and Rebecca. That's me. And that's obviously Paul. We spend a lot of our time exploring old railways, canals, tunnels, viaducts and whatever else floats our boat at the time. So join us on our weekly adventures.
That sounds rude.
After you've pressed subscribe, of course.
Okay, so the first part of this line is kind of a no-go because it's just trees, isn't it?
There's a lot of trees.
It's not even like we can walk down there, is it? It's just like forest and jungle. I mean, jungle's probably a bit of an exaggeration for this country, but it's the jungle. Yeah, so right, we're going to have to keep walking now through this part of the village, which is Cottonwood, and we're going to head north. Private property, Rebecca, do you think it's private around there?
I'm not sure. I don't think I saw enough signs that said private property in the river.
It's like
the longest ford in the whole wide world.
Yeah, I know, it's mad, isn't it? It's a ford, right? It says obviously allow space for horses to get through because it's a ford on the Disused River. We're just at Chilbolton Common. We're probably about a mile or so up the line. We haven't been able to walk any of the line yet.
I want to bring my horse through here.
I wouldn't want to bring my horse through here.
That's some hard work, ducks.
So we're about 1.5 miles in now, and I think we've had 0% of track bed walking.
I don't think my 28% isn't looking good right now.
It's not, is it? But we're going to walk through the village of Wherwell, which is very beautiful, and we kind of just reflect on how busy we are at the moment.
Yep, that's an understatement. I run my shop, you run the family business, we've got this YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, and we've got the kids.
Way too many kids. Now, one thing we try and do to relax, because we feel that's quite important, is have a bit of downtime, and that's often for me, and a little bit for you, is reading, especially magazines.
A little while ago we discovered Readly, a magazine subscription service.
So instead of paying for every magazine you buy, $4.99, $5.99 or whatever the price is, you can access thousands of titles online through Readly's one monthly payment.
And that's just $7.99 a month.
So for me personally, I love looking at old railway magazines. For those that watch the channel regularly, you know that I love the landscape. Well, I do love modelling that landscape, and I get hundreds of different ideas from old railway magazines. I also love looking at walking magazines because that's kind of 90% of what we do in our spare time, and you can do it whilst you're out and about. You can do exactly what I'm doing now, which is looking through the app whilst we're out and about. It's got so many different features. You can look at back catalogues, you can do search features, you can zoom in and out, all on your mobile app.
It's an extremely user-friendly app, and I use it as well for the antiques magazines to do some research sometimes for my shop.
So the offer that Readly are giving away today is 6 weeks free of charge if you sign up before the 30th of April. Don't worry if you missed out on that, because it still remains $7.99 a month, even if you missed that 6-week offer. But if you do sign up, and please do, use our special link in the description and the doobly-doo below. Come up to the line now. We're actually right next to the line, but again it's not a walkway. You can walk over it and you can look one way and it's thick jungle. I like the word jungle.
We're into jungle today.
And you can walk that way, but you can't walk that way on the line because everybody's back gardens. There's a whole row of back gardens all the way down there. We can walk alongside it.
Yes.
So let's carry on walking alongside it. So if you could look that way through the trees there, you would see the picture of old Wherwell Station, because we're just approaching Wherwell village now. And you can't see it now because there's trees, there's hedges, you name it. But this is obviously the spot that was taken from, looking that way. And it's a huge station. And it has double track, the whole line was double tracked. Everything about this line was built like a grand big railway. Yeah, it was only a 7-mile branch line. And that's kind of always fascinated me. And then you realise the reason why, because London South Western Railway built it as attempt for the Didcot, Newbury and Southampton Railway to come and have a use our line, so you don't have to bother building your own. You're short on cash, come and use our line.
Yeah, our grand looking line.
Look what we've just built for you. Massive station with goods yard, double track, another station further on for Long Parish, which we'll get to shortly. But this whole line was built, massive budget, and Didcot, Newbury and Southampton Railway had an answer for that, which we'll come to shortly.
That's really cool. There's a dog grooming and daycare centre called Hairy Poppins.
That's
what
genius.
a great name! What a great name, look! Hairy Poppins.
Well, what, we're now 2 miles into the journey. How much of the line have we walked on?
0.
0. Can you do 0 with mittens?
I can, look. I can do 1, I can do 2,
And
0.
0. Well, that really kind of shows, Rebecca, why you can't walk the line, right?
Yeah, it's a bit like a jungle.
It's like a jungle. Look at it though, look. OS map says there's a pathway perpendicular here to the bridge, the parapet of the old railway. However, we just bumped into a local who walked up the steps up on top of the railway, and we said, can you go that way? And she said, yeah. So we're kind of thinking that's a bit strange. So we're just going to kind of follow the person that way and see what happens, right? Go for it. This is clearly a walkable pathway,
Yep.
but this isn't on the OS maps.
It's proper cut back and everything, isn't it?
This is the first time today we've been walking on the track bed. It's proper cut back, there's pathway, there's people's footprints, dog prints, you name it.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful cutting. Had it not been for the woman we saw who walked this way, we wouldn't have come down here in a million years, because how would you know this was here? So the question is, are we counting this on our stats as can you walk along the line? Because it's not
on the OS map.
No.
Your statement at the beginning was that it needs to be on the OS map.
Right, so this doesn't count.
No, it doesn't.
Despite the fact we're walking, it doesn't count. And Didcot, Newbury and Southampton Railway said, nope, we're fine, we're going to carry on going. So this line, double track line, massively expensive, 2 huge stations, was pretty much redundant from the word go. It was used obviously, as everything was in the World Wars. They used obviously Long Parish, little sidings for Long Parish to get the bombs up into Harewood Forest, but other than that it was effectively a waste of money. Perfect shot. Under this bridge, really windy, beautiful tall bridge. We're going to have to walk now along the road as far as we can, probably meet them again at Long Parish.
Yeah, I think that's probably our best bet.
Meet you at Long Parish.
Okay.
We found the 428th private, no
1, 2, 3.
3 signs. Just around here, it's like so many signs. Not this way, not this way, not that way. So aggressive, isn't it?
It's a bit.
Do you see what I mean? It feels like you can't walk anywhere. So we're going to walk kind of through this way now. I mean, you're not supposed to, there's no right of way here, but we're in the middle of nowhere.
Be careful and safe and respectful.
And we've not crossed any fences, etc. But you can join another pathway just up here. So it'd be interesting to see if there's any old relics or bits and pieces along here, which is probably very, very seldom trod. So this pathway crosses the line. So the line goes that way off towards Hurstbourne and then on to London. Now, interestingly, it's funny how public rights of way like this remain, because if you look down here, right?
That was definitely a...
Well, that's an old routeway across. So there's obviously like a level crossing here, or not a level crossing, but just a route across. And you can see down there all of the
concrete posts.
old concrete posts leading up to the line. We found a place where we thought there'd be a lovely little overbridge, because on the map from sort of 1900 there's a nice overbridge on this section of the track, but obviously it didn't last, because now it's a pathway down to the track bed, which we're just on now, because this is a public footpath, but yet again public, no right of way, private. That way is where we thought there used to be, or definitely used to be, an overbridge. This way faces the road. That's the road bridge on the middle way. Right, so what have we learnt today, Rebecca, in today's film? What have we learnt?
You can't walk on any of this line.
You can't walk on any of this line. 0.00% of this line can be walked along officially and legally.
We walked across it at one point.
We walked across it a few times. We've zigzagged all the way up the line, basically, haven't we? 7 miles of this line. We would hope one day that we should be sort of campaigning for the right to roam, like they have in Scotland, where if you don't walk on cultivated land, people's houses, gardens, schools, that sort of thing, you can walk with a little bit of responsibility and sensibleness. But we don't have that. We seem to be going backwards at the moment in this country. Rant over. Thing we've learned, number 2, the good people at Readley still have an offer on to sign up now, and you'll get 6 weeks free of charge, where it's normally £7.99 a month. Thereafter, it'd be £7.99 a month. Yeah. Right, we're nearly out of lockdown, people. We've got like a couple of weeks left. So, you know, you'll hopefully see us back again, travelling all over the country and making you wonderful, beautiful videos. We really appreciate your continued support, however, during this difficult period. We will see you next week. Blue sky.
It is. That's not blue sky.
Kind of, well, that way is.
Oh, so it is.